Yeah, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and Sangren, Board Masters, Brother Joe, and all Dharma brothers and sisters. Just as Sisters Lily say, warmest welcome to our Friday training of Wondrous Lotus Sutra review. And very感恩 for giving Irene the opportunity to learn tonight and to be the facilitator to hear our three wonderful, diligent brothers who also happen to be in our Cantonese Dharma platform team. So they are very active in various churchy activities. So now let us start by inviting our brother Dr. Ho. He's our doctor from Kuantan, a very diligent brother who has started to even in early days in 2016-2017 helping to do live caption for Sangren's morning Dharma, and he's a diligent brother who always go back to Hualien attending Tima conference. Yeah, over to you, brother Dr. Ho. Thank you.
Please unmute yourself, Dr. Ho.
Thank you. Good morning to Venerable Master Chen Yan, Abbots Masters, Brother Joe, and all the Dharma acquaintances that are present. Today, we would like to present slightly or just briefly touching on the episode of 854 and 855 of Wisdom at Dawn. Which will really brought us into a brief glimpse of Lotus Sutra. For us, roughly speaking, this is our beloved world. Oh, and if we take the Buddha as our great benefactor, I suppose this is something we as Buddhist disciples will feel. Okay, our world seems to be a nice planet, great appeal, blue in color. Well, it's better than the looks of other planets in our solar system. Okay, and we are most fortunate that we are able to be born as a human. Well, lucky me, right? But somehow this poses a dilemma for us because this is really giving us the headache. But because when we start to have in-depth knowledge of Buddhism, then we would think of the maybe whether we are thinking of the more pessimistic part of thinking, of style of thinking. Like the old sayings, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, the moon is more rounded in the overseas, blah, blah, blah. But is it a good place? Not really. For the Buddha have left us a sutra aptly called Lotus Sutra. Not only is the kind of sutra one may really run away from it actually, because the sutra sometimes can be depressing when one is reading its lines. Lord Buddha's having taught us eons ago that the world is full of sufferings. Why it is called samsara in the old language of Sanskrit, then maybe it's translation from the Pali language of his time. as a human, do we want to accept or reject the sufferings? For in a sense, the sufferings, when we encounter in Buddhism, the things are it's something like those spy movies. What seems to be the good things is not the correct things, because when we encounter the teachings of Buddha, Buddha taught us to transcend beyond the five realms, the heavenly beings, asuras, human, animals, hungry ghosts, and hell. Well, in my early years, we will say, "Oh, bless you, delivered to the heaven." But now we know the heaven is still not enough standard. Then what this will pose to us a great dilemma. Should we enjoy ourselves first? Maybe not, maybe yes. Who don't want? Money, fame, prestige, power, women, or men, depending on who you are. Okay. For greater amount of money will give to you greater amount of power. Some call it success. They earn money a lot, big landlord. Okay. So their ranking could be counted in hundreds, ranking of in the fortune company. But for Buddhism, we call it poison. As simple as that. Greed, contempt, ignorance, pride, doubt, all is interrelated, all is from one will arise to another. Just from a simple point of speaking, maybe just from a simple desire of one thing. I want something, you want something. I want this toy when we are young, or I want this pencil box, or I want this pencil. And when one does not get what one's want, then we will proceed into anger, malice, and contempt. For this is an incessant cycle. The more we want, I want more. With more money we have, I want to be a millionaire, or better still, a billionaire. So for each of our actions, it will create more of technically disaster for us. So what to do? We may have already have a lot of dust of samsara from our multiple life cycle. Well, if we are lucky, still be born as human. But anyway, it will be a one-way street to create more bad karmas, and imagine the consequences. For this, it's a simple diagram. How are we going to solve this conundrum? The great ocean, that means it's the great wide world or the universe. But the delusions and attachment blocks us from approaching the wide ocean or the universe. We are stuck. How to resolve this Maya? How to remove all the entanglements, the thorns, the pain, the miseries from our life? And we have the tiny little bit of craving and wanting that starts all the trouble. The delusions, the attachments, all the sufferings are hindered us to transcend beyond the five realms. They are the culprits. They may be called fame and glory, They are the one that bar us from reaching the great ocean, reaching the great vehicle teachings, the unsurpassed wisdom, and actually is blocking us from our true innate nature. I want a Bentley. Who doesn't? I want a plane. Better still. I want to be on the upper strata of the society. I want all the wealth that can be given to me. I want. I want. I want. Am I sound like a bad man? Well, this has happened to everybody, not only me. Okay. So, welcome to the club of fame and fortune. And let me present to you the true scope, the fire mansion. The more desires and wanting, the greater the flame that will arise. Technically, none of us will feel the flame. For one would gladly embrace the richness of success and fortunes. For the flame is the one that poisons us. The Buddha, having great compassion for us sentient beings, a great unsurpassed sage of wisdom, the elder, having pity for us, the sentient beings in sufferings, seeing the mansion on fire, for that is the world of samsara. He wanted for us to escape from all the personal richness of mind and body. So, do you want treatment or don't want treatment? Do we want to forego everything? Can we just drop everything and go? To escape from the three realms, the realms of desire, the realm of form, and the realm of formlessness. The formlessness consists of 4 heavens, the form 18 heavens, the desire 6 heavens. Well, we belong in the lower strata of the desire 6 heavens, one of the lowest. We have a lot of, we need to do a lot of work to go and progress beyond the heavens. Better still, escape from all these heavens. So what Buddha does? From the fire mansion, we know Buddha will entice us with goat cart, deer cart, and the great white ox cart. And these 3 corresponds to the 3 teachings, the small teachings, middle teaching, and the great teachings. How are we going to proceed on the elimination of all the bad karma? Well, easy said than done. First, do no evil. How? Follow the precepts. For we are the lost ones, not knowing the evil of the world. We gladly embrace them, which will in turn create more and more of bad karma. From the simple 5 precepts, no killing, no stealing, no improper sexual conduct, no false speech, and no intoxicants. Sounds simple enough, but not easy. How do we need to do it? How to remove defilements? One could just start with a precept, slowly starting from 1 to all 5 precepts. Even holding a single precept, it will make us refrain from doing at least some bad things, I suppose. From there on, we need to have staunch in the faith. We must always listen to the Dharma, and like mentioned in the Lotus Sutra, if one could learn, remember, or recite a verse, or even a word, there would be much to gain for oneself in the world. When we knew the Dharma and back on the proper path of cultivation, there would not be much of regression in our heart. Of course, we need to always ponder at the end of each day to recollect and reflect of any wrongdoings and to repent for it. That is for ourselves, that's our homework. maybe we never do it. Besides that, it will be something like a revision for us to relearn what we know, to refresh our memory of the teachings so that it would be engraved in our mind. From upholding the precepts, not only we would do no harm, and we would sever the misconceptions of the mind, then we are basically upholding the Thus Come One precepts, the precepts of Thus Come One, the Buddha precepts. And hopefully, when we are staunch in heart, we will not create more of bad karma. And slowly we will progress from leaking wisdom, migrating to non-leaking wisdom. From creating bad karma of sentient beings to at least Bodhisattva or Buddhist level. Why is that? Is that easy? Precepts seems to be a lot. Simple common layman, 5 to 10. For the fully ordained monk and nun, the male monk will have about 250. The nun, they will have almost 500 precepts. That seems to be a lot. But is it easy? It takes one to realize the importance. We need to have to gain the practice and the fruits of cultivation. And the way of cultivation is the Bodhisattva Path, requiring for us to externally walking the Bodhisattva Path in the world among the sentient beings, and to internally practice the Bodhisattva mind. Then only we will gain the wisdom of the world, gaining the body heart. When we truly merging our mind with the universe, we are at the end of our cultivation, gaining the Buddha insight and wisdom. This is what our Venerable Master sought to teach us. By externally walking among the masses, solving their pains and sufferings, and internally to learn the Dharma, proving the principles of the Dharma in our daily life, and gaining the wisdom of life for ourselves. The teachings of the Buddha. There's a lot, 84,000 types or different types. Sounds scary. Basically, it can be divided into 3 teachings: small, middle, and great vehicle teachings. Basically, it's from goat cart to deer cart to great white ox cart. And all is taught with affinity and conditions, and taught according to the root of understanding of the person. For Buddha, whom is a great teacher, he will show us in a multitude, shown the multitudes various ways. He would envision us the phantom city, a city to temporarily rest to proceed to the final destination. For he knew the Sravaka hearers and the Pratyeka Buddhas would be complacent in their cultivation, for they thought they have gained the true nirvana, but they only gained the fake nirvana, gaining the fragmentary samsara of the enlightened. One, when transcend the 3 realms, achieving the transformed samsara of the enlightened, that would be a true Buddha awakening. The proper son. From a small and medium teachings to revert to great vehicle teachings. Buddha having the compassion to lead his disciple into the great teaching, and the great teaching is called the Bodhisattva Path. Jewel in the cloth parables. When the ignorant man does not realize the benefactor is trying to help him, enduring much of suffering until he met the great benefactor again, when told that he already been blessed with the inner innate nature, in the sense here it is the jewel in the cloth. Without realizing he possessing it, seeking high and low, far and wide, for it is only can be found in our own mind. The Bodhisattva path is hidden among the 6 paramitas. From the dana of giving, external, internal, and invisible of giving, for this cures the greed in one's mind. Whereas the precepts prevents one from fouling one's mind, the forbearance is teaching one to subdue the enemy of malice and anger, while the diligence teaches one to counter lopsided attitude in heart. The meditation trains one to control and brought together the confused and scattered minds. And the last one, the wisdom, will guide us the way, showing the truth, the way to go away from the way, the deluded and the ignorant mind. Buddha, the all-compassionate and kind, incessant returns to this world, acting as the great healer. His compassion, subtle in teachings with infinity, caters to all walks of life, whether of big tree or small tree of understanding, to the different disciples in the 3 teachings. For he aims to rid the children of all walks of life, the poison of the world of delusion and sufferings, offering them the great vehicle teachings. The pearl in the hair crown signifies the final teaching is the great vehicle teachings. For it is in the parable, is hidden in the hair crown of the person. For the hair is like what? The hair is the 2 small and medium teachings, clouding our judgment, clouding our innate nature. Our innate nature contains the great truth. Only it is hidden by the provisional teachings. For the teachings is through affinity, through opportunity, according to the root of understanding and according to the cultivator's practice. Only through upholding the precepts and cultivating the Brahma practice which meant purity and clean, that is able to subdue the sufferings of humans. For humans, the 6 roots causes the 6 defilements. The eye causes the form, the ear causes the sound, nose, smell, tongue, taste, body, touch, mind, and thought. This is the first of the 6 consciousness or the 6 root. For if it is able to negate the 8 kinds of suffering, the birth, the old age, illness, death, of separation of what we love, of association with what we hate, of our inability to fulfill our desires, and suffering from the instability of the 5 skandhas. To remove the 5 skandhas, the defilement of a lifetime, the defilement of sentient being, the defilement of afflictions, the defilement of mistaken views, the defilement of kalpas. If we are able to slowly remove all the 5 skandhas, we are removing our mistakes and preventing it from occurring again. Never to let it create or form up again. And lastly, we are hopefully that all the Brahma practice will let us gain the ultimate fruit, the perfect mirror of cultivation. Even though it is a Brahma practice, but it is still mentioned that we need to externally benefiting others. For that is still the Bodhisattva path. The Bodhisattva is all compassionate, for they do not attach to emptiness, for they do not attach to existence also, for they have achieved the true emptiness and wondrous existence state. For the true emptiness and wondrous existence state, that is the middle path. For that, they have gained the non-leak Dharma state. That is the fruit of cultivation of great vehicle Dharma. Gaining the true Nirvana, the transformed samsara of the enlightened ones. This concludes my sharing. The teaching is vast and great. Only one with determination and true belief through the great teachings would gain the ultimate fruits of gain, the Bodhisattva, to become themselves a great healer. This slide looks so simple, but there are so much that we need to go through. It is not easy, but at least I suppose we can have credit, able to continue to follow a great master, and hopefully we can carry all our cultivations to our next life and next life, or better still, we just graduate from this world as easy as ABC. Thank you. And we hope that the world is at peace and harmony, especially in this COVID era.
All right. 感恩 Brother Dr. Ho for the wonderful sharing. May we now invite Brother Joe to give us his feedback. 感恩 Brother.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Irene, and also thank you, Brother Ho, Dr. Ho. Indeed, the teaching is vast and also wondrous. It's vast and great. And I think Dr. Ho has just brought us through many parts. And I think one of the things that I think we could conclude is what Dr. Ho said at the beginning. Precepts. We're all clouded by our poisons. Therefore, we cannot see the fire in the fire mentioned. Therefore, we cannot see the jewel that is in our clothing. Therefore, we cannot see the treasure that is waiting for the pauper son. Therefore, we cannot see that there is so much water there just waiting for us. So much as long as we want to take them in, they're there for us. And all these treasures are out there, but because we're clouded, but we cannot take them in. And the reason why we're clouded is because we have the poison. To uncloud it, we need the precepts. And that's where Dr. Ho began by saying that we need to uphold the precepts. It's not so much so that we can be reborn into a better life, but rather to be born into a life of clarity, knowing where we are, knowing what we need, knowing what we have, and knowing where we want to go. And that, I think, is the path of clarity. And I think that is the path of Bodhisattva. So thank you, Dr. Ho. You brought us through all the parables, and you brought us through many terminologies. But I think that is the key, is the poison that clouds us and makes us into the ones where we are clouded. So to break that judgment cloud, we need to make sure we have the precepts. Okay, thank you, Dr. Ho. That was very complete. Thank you.
All right. 感恩. Now we shall invite Brother Jushua. Brother Jushua is from USA. So he's sharing on episode 858. Let's hear from Brother Jushua. Over to you, Brother Jushua.
Okay, thank you, Sister Irene, for inviting me to this Lotus Sutra sharing. So, good morning to Venerable Dharma Master Chen Yan, Dharma Master, Brother Ho, Brother Joe, and all the Dharma brothers and sisters in the whole world. Yeah, my name is Jushua Tan, and I'm very happy today to be here with every one of you. And this time is my first time of sharing with everyone. So please forgive me if there's any mistake. So I'll be touching on the Wisdom at Dawn on 20 September 2021, episode 558, 858, the Buddha's unmatched and boundless grace. So, so Buddha's grace for sentient beings is very vast and boundless. So Buddha hopes that does not give up on any of his sentient beings, and then no matter how ignorant we are and how much poisons we have in our lives, and he keeps coming back and hopes that we can all have something to return to and rely on for many lifetimes to come. So we must all return to our nature of true suchness. And this is like the analogy of the Tathagata's room, where with Tathagata's wisdom, we can be equal and abide in the same place as Buddha. We don't have to get tormented by heat and snow. And heat and snow, it means that any of the external conditions that are unfavorable, which I'll describe my my own personal story later. And we have a warm and cozy place to stay if we have the Tathagata's wisdom. So Buddha repeatedly looking for a chance to guide all sentient beings so that we are all able to attain joy and ease. And this kind of joy and ease is like a Dharma joy, where we have the grace of liberating, relieving suffering with great compassion. And those with the affinity will be saved from suffering. And by attaining Buddha Dharma, sentient beings can attain liberation. And next is this clothing of gentleness and patience, where the Buddha teaches us how to live with gentle and full of warmth. And so this brings us to the state of the emptiness of all phenomena, where we truly let go of all the attachment in our lives, and then we just truly giving without any expectation, and then we just give all our whole heart and all great love, and then we'll eventually attain the joy and ease. And then so I will be sharing my own personal story back in 2014. So just a little bit introduction about myself. So I was a Tzu Chi in the USA, but I'm originally from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and then I moved to the US in 2009 to study in University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and then when I studied there, I get to know about Tzu Chi. So I joined a lot of Tzu Chi activities since college until after college, and then a lot of Tzu Chi camps, and then get to know a lot of like Shiku Shibo alumni and also other Tzu Chi. And we had a great time. I went to the national conference every year. And in 2014, I also went to the New Jersey Tzu Chi conference. And it was a very warm home sweet home environment for me to be able to get into this Dharma family at that time. And then, however, so I moved from Michigan to Washington, D.C. in 2014, in March of 2014. And then when I get to D.C., I get to know a lot of Washington, D.C. Shiku Shibo, who treat me like their own children. and then they keep helping me with finding the house to rent, helping me to move my stuff, even borrow me his car. So I'm very grateful for everything that they have done for me. But however, when times is moved, we should always be aware of impermanence. And then, so these are all like external conditions that come in to affect our lives, and we never know when it's going to happen. So, but we have to just accept it, and depends on how we deal with it. So on that day, the day that changed my life forever. So what actually happened on that day? So then on that day, I was like riding bicycle back home from work. And then when I get to this intersection, this is in Reston, Virginia, a suburb close to Washington, D.C. And then but when I was, before I crossed, and then I saw a truck coming by, and then I thought he was stopping for me. We had eye contact. However, when I moved forward, I got hit by that truck. And then like my both legs was actually being hit and being run over by his front tire of the truck. And then I was like yelling in pain, and was like slapping the body of the truck. And yeah, oh my God, it was very, very horrible. And luckily the truck stopped, and then come and see me, and then call 911. And then eventually the ambulance sent me to the hospital. Yeah, it was like in deep suffering at that time. So in the hospital, I eventually told them my emergency contact person is the Susan Sigu, which is like the Sigu that came that I only know her since I moved to Washington DC, but I know I can depend on her and rely on her, because she had always been helping me like a mom in overseas. So that's why the Sigu Sibo, Susan Sigu, Eric Sibo, and Howard Sibo, they came to the hospital on that night itself, and then reassure me that I don't have to be worried. They'll let my parents know. I give them the contact information of my family back home in Malaysia, and then they say just go to my surgery, and then eventually after I wake up from the surgery, then they will inform my family that everything is safe. Yeah, but but there's like impermanence after impermanence. Yeah, so things doesn't stop that. So after my surgery, the next day, and then when Sigu Sibo keep waiting for me to wake up, and I didn't wake up after the night of the surgery. Even the next morning after the surgery, they came back to the hospital. I still didn't wake up, so they become very anxious, and then they keep asking the doctor, "What happened to me?" And then it takes a long time for the doctor to answer. And then finally, the doctor admitted that there was a complication with the surgery. I won't get into that part because it's complicated. So so that's why I was in a coma. And then so it's very, very worried. Everyone's so worried when someone's in coma. What will happen to me? Yeah, will I ever wake up? So so they know they have to contact my family anyway. So they call my family in Malaysia. It's a lot of obstacles to contact my family as well. And then after my family believes that what they tell is true, and then okay, they know something is bad. So they're very worried. And then my whole family actually had to come to the US to take care of me. And then my father and my sister, they came first, and then followed by my mother and my brother because of my mom's visa problem. So when they get to the US, and then Susan Sigu immediately try to tell them about my situation, and what kind of medical permission my father needs to sign in order to let the doctor to do more surgery to help to fix the complication of my previous surgery. And then there was a lot of very scary story. Even during the time of my coma, like once I had a fever, and then there's to do like a PEG tube, and as well as like a breathing tube. Yeah. So and also because I have like a lot of built a lot of affinity with my Tzu Chi family before my accident, through joining all the national conference camps, and then they created like Facebook group, Line group, and also recorded some videos to ask me to wake up and ask me to be strong. So I really appreciate all those people who actually prayed for my recovery at that time. So I'm really thankful that that everyone does not give up on me. So luckily, miracle finally happened, and then I even in Malaysia, because one of my Tzu Chi 学姐 she's come back home in Malaysia, and then she tell the Tzu Chi in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor about my situation, and then they also pray for me here in KL. And then Yamei Siku, the executive director of the Midwest Tzu Chi USA region, also let the Jingse Sifu, the Dharma master, know about my situation, and then I even get blessing from Hualien in the boat as well. So I'm very grateful for everyone that prayed for my recovery. And finally, miracle happened, and I finally woke up after 9 days of coma. Thank God, I survived, and then so I was very weak when I first woke up, but I know that there's so many hopes, so many people that make this happen, like all the doctors, nurses, my family, all my Tzu Chi family, everyone that prayed for me, and the Washington DC Siku Board to arrange for my family's logistics when they come here, so that they don't have to worry about their transportation, their food, their accommodation. Yeah, I'm very grateful for everyone that have done so much for me, even people that I haven't contacted for many years. So I know that I need to recover quickly. So I have to endure all the pain, all the painkillers, try to go through the physical therapy, so that I will become, I will be able to walk back again. So I have to like sit in the wheelchair for a while and using walker, but eventually I recover. So so that's why all the Siku Sipo in Washington DC, they actually taught me a lot about the seed of the emptiness of all phenomena. They are actually giving without expectation, even though I have no relations with them. At the time, I'm just some random Tzu Chi who came from our state to their place, but they really treat me like their own children. And then I created such a deep and great affinity with them, even though I didn't know them for a long time. So to me, they are like just a Buddha who expressed like great compassion to me, and then so therefore their graces are very hard for me to repay. And that's why when my family tell them, oh, thank you so much for everything that you have done, and then what can we do to repay you? Can we give you like money or whatever thing? And then they say no. They do not expect anything in return. If I want to return, then I can continue this cycle of love and compassion by helping Buddha to go and help even more sentient beings. So so after I recover, eventually I go back and to get certified as commissioner, as a fake cop. And then I want to continue this cycle of love, and then I will be more diligent to listen to Buddha Dharma, and also try to use my multilingual abilities, like in Mandarin, English, and Cantonese, to help to let the audience from different languages to understand about the Buddha teachings. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing right now, and then I'll be doing this like for a very long time and forever. So to spread master's teaching to more audience of the world. So that's the end of my sharing. Thank you.
Danan, Brother Joshua, Now maybe invite Brother Joe. Thank you, Kan'an.
Okay, thank you, Brother Jushua. That was indeed very, I think at times it was very difficult to bear, to listen through. And at the end, it was a very happy ending. And seeing you now is a testament of how determination, also love, and also the faith. I wanted to share with you that I had just realized what it means. I think in this particular chapter, in the 4th chapter, the faith and understanding, talks about a son that comes home, and the father, after about 50 years, and the father realized that that was his son. So that's the story, right? That's the parable. And I had always questioned, how is it possible that the father would be able to recognize that that was the lost son? And I always questioned that, because after 50 years, a person would have changed so much. And after hearing your story, I think I understood that it wasn't so much that that was their lost son. It was just like you and Suku Suku of Washington, D.C. You know, everybody is their son. So you didn't need to recognize like, oh, this is the little Jushua that grew up 50 years ago. No, they didn't need to do that. Anyone, everyone, as long as they are willing to accept their care and their knowledge, then that person would be their son. So I think your story made me understand that truth at that moment in that story. The question that I always had, it's a very logical question that has a logical answer, because the father regards anyone as his son, everyone, as long as that person is willing to accept. And most of the time we don't accept. Most of the time we refuse. But only when things like this happen that we are helpless, and then we need help, and then we accept. Like when we're faced with so much ignorance and also afflictions. In your case, you open your arms to accept at the time that you're most needed. And that's where the love is, and that's where the care is, and that's where now both mutually you receive the care as their son, and you now pay back, or you now provide what you can back to the society as a faithful son. So I think that was something that was powerful when you were just sharing that, and I wanted to share with you. Thank you for sharing that story, and thank you for opening up my minds to understand another deeper meaning of this parable. Thank you, Brother Jushua, and I hope that you are recovering well in terms of your, I think it talks about, I read through the text, it was the lower body of multiple fractures, and I hope you're recovering well. It's been 7 years, and I hope everything is going well for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Joe. Everything's recovering well for me right now. Thank you.
That's good to hear. And I think you, the fact that it's recovering really well means that there's so much more road and path for you to walk on, and so many more people for you to meet and see and share your story, and also your understanding of the teaching too. So there's a lot more road for you to walk, and a lot more road for you to bike. And I hope you haven't lost that. I hope that you don't have the fear, but I think whether it's bike or anything involving traffic, have the courage to overcome that fear. And I think it's something that's the most courageous. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Kan'an, Brother Joe, yeah, indeed, very touching story from Brother Jushua. We will invite Brother Jushua to speak more. Yeah. Okay, now without further ado, let's invite Brother Andrew. Brother Andrew, over to you.
Gansis, Sister Irene. Good morning, sister and brothers. First of all, our Honorable Master Cheng for always having such a wonderful platform. And we have a chance to gather online and we learn together. So yeah, today I'm pleased to share with you my biggest takeaway on the episode 842 in the Wondrous Lotus Sutra. And this is a practicing with loving kindness and compassion. So what I have learned from this episode, this is a learning and practicing the Buddha Dharma. And we must make a great vows. We give rise to loving kindness and compassion and transform ourselves while benefiting others. For enlightened sentient being with great aspiration, the Buddha gave predictions of certainly attending Buddhahood in the future. So we know all that forming a great aspiration and making great vow is very important. And this is the Buddha's teaching, and Buddha hopes is that we can all transform ourselves while benefiting others. So we want to help others, yes. We always set a bigger mission so that we are moving forward constantly. So we must also engage in a spiritual practice. We learn from the way how we deal with the people and handle the difficulties. We all have difficulties and we all have challenges every day. So if we are able to put the teaching into practice, so we can lead others to do the same as well. So therefore, the Buddha wants us to understand the principles of the Dharma and make an effort to eliminate the ignorance and afflictions. So this is the Buddha teaching. So we have to acknowledge and accept the suffering. So we all realize it is the origin. So once we comprehend the suffering, we know our situation well, and we must put the teaching into actions to eliminate the source of suffering. So we will learn that the truth of suffering, causations, cessation, and the path. So everyone has to make vows and start to enter the Buddha's door. So then we all know the Buddhas tell us life is full of suffering, which all come from our mind. So every day we have the minds that telling us a lot of a story. So because we easy to be affected by the mind. So now we rise our wisdoms. So we can change our mind by understanding the difficulties, accepting it, overcome it, let go and move on. So when the Dharma is taken into our hearts, so this is what we call transforming ourselves and benefiting others, is where everyone goes to help and give of themselves in disaster relief. So we practice the Buddha Dharma and to be willing to make a great vows. So everyone must have a vows. You and me also have a vows to give rise to kindness and compassion and transform ourselves and benefiting others. So for enlightened sentient being with great aspiration, so for those who have formed a great aspiration, those awakened sentient being, the Buddha give his affirmation. So we must always give without asking for anything in return. So when we give, we must do so joyfully. So if we can do this, we will attain Buddhahood. So when we practice in Buddha's way, so we can say it is simple, but also complicated. So once we have a firm and solid spiritual aspiration, our vows are sincere. We will don't afraid and worry any outside factors affecting our minds. Really, this is can be done, right? So I'm going to share to simplify the 6 parameters. So we are actually the 6 parameters in all actions in the path of a difficult practice. With giving, when our resolve is firm, we will not retreat from our mindset of giving. There is a giving of material wealth, dharma, and fearlessness. So we can give material things to others. So when sentient beings are in need of help and we quickly comfort them, so this is the giving of fearlessness. So after giving comes uphold precepts. So uphold the precepts means following the basic rules of human beings. So if something is wrong, so we should not do it. So we must earnestly seek to be good persons. So we must guard against wrongs and stop evil. So if something is wrong, we must not give rise to any thought of it. The way then we can be free of hindering the afflictions. So as for patience, with true patience, is there anything that we cannot patiently endure? So if we can thoroughly comprehend the principles, that all things are empty in nature. So after upholding precepts and patience come diligence. So if we can diligently advance every day, naturally our minds will become focused and our wisdom will rise. So if we can uphold these 6 parameters and realize them in all our actions, so we will be able to give so much to others. In the end, our practice will be complete and we will truly be filled with great joy. Okay. Yeah, this is one of the most impressive and unforgettable trip that I have ever joined in Chi activities before I turned to commissioner. So Orang Sungai is in English is the people of river. So this is one of the remote area in Sandakan, Sabah, which is my hometown. I never know that actually this is the area that it's very far from my city. And this is a very undeveloped region of the state. And we have to reach there by boat. And the villages don't have a power supply and no water supply at all. So they have to collect the rainwater for daily water ration. So this trip, we are going to having a charity distribution. We put all the daily necessity on board. And this is quite scary during that time because I was still in the early stage of joining Tzu Chi. So I found that this is quite a challenge. But I really inspired by the sister and brother. They are doing this constantly, and I believe they are making a great vow. And this is the big aspiration that they are having. So I understand the children over there, they really need the help and definitely the education hope. So I truly inspired by the kids smiling, and they also teach me a lot that they are very innocent and they're having such a lovely living. And during that time, we also bring a lot of doctors, the medical group, to provide free medication services. And we also bring the teacher together and teach them how to protect the environment by not polluting the river. Okay, but last but not least, yeah, this is the biggest inspiration that I'm having. What kind of a person is a Bodhisattva? So anyone who is able to gather the love in people's heart is a Bodhisattva. So the first requirement in learning to be Bodhisattva is that we must open our hearts and expand our love. As are the seeds we sow, so are the fruits we reap. So by cultivating the 6 parameters, Bodhisattva reap the following fruits. Yeah, that's all from my sharing today. And over to you, Sister Irene.
Oh, 感恩, yeah, 感恩, Brother Andrew. Yeah, so now we pass over to Brother Ju. Brother Ju, sorry, a bit overrun of time. Yeah, now 9 p.m. now. 感恩.
No, thanks to Brother Andrew. Thanks to everybody. I think today's sharing indeed is something for us. We always see that we're willing to give. Thanks to Brother Andrew to once again go through the 6 parameters. We remember at the very beginning, Dr. Ho gave us a quick rundown of the 6 parameters as well. By the time, so there's a very short time, right? It's about an hour ago when Dr. Ho gave us that 6 parameter to where Brother Andrew gave us the 6 parameters. I'm already thinking that that there is already a difference between how I felt. It's not just that both of you spoke in different ways to explain what the same thing, but I think it's, through Brother Jushua and also everybody sharing, you have a different sense of what giving and upholding precepts are. And one of the strongest feeling I had was through giving. I think there was a part in Brother Andrew. You talked about going to these remote. I don't know that place name, but it's that remote place where you have to go by boat, and where you have to go by to provide them with whatever they need, also education to the children. And I was thinking, are you giving or are you letting something go? It's the same thing, but it's how you see it, right? You are performing an act of giving, but you're also performing an act of letting go. And but how you see it, it depends on your mentality, and also depends on what you're doing. So it's something that I'm still trying to grasp what it means. But it just dawned on me to think further that giving and letting go, it's the same thing, the two sides of the same thing, and that maybe perhaps you're doing something good in terms of giving, but you're letting go something that is poison, something that is not good. You're letting go of that. So it's refreshing. Is all I can say is that through everybody sharing tonight, we indeed are seeing that, as what Brother Andrew said, making that great aspiration and also making that vow is very important, because it shows you, it lets you see more than what we ordinarily would see. Just like what Dr. Ho's the episodes at the very beginning. If you uphold the precepts, or if you are clear about your objective, then you will see the truth. And whether it's giving up or giving for charity, you will see the truth. Other people will see that you are a bit crazy for doing something, but you see the real thing, you see the truth. And I think that is very important. And sometimes when we don't see it, your sharing make us see something that is more true. And that's what three of you, Brother Andrew, Dr. Ho, and Brother Jushua has shown us today, to see the things that we otherwise wouldn't be able to see. So thank you all of you. At first, Sister Lily always said that this is the practice session, and I always chuckled because I don't see why this is a practice. This is the real thing, and everybody's sharing the true feelings. There's no practice. Practice would be like, oh, let's do over. There was the NG one. Let's do over. But everybody was doing great, and everybody was sharing with such sincerity and also with such depth in understanding and faith. And so I don't think this is a practice session anymore. I think this is the real thing. And so thank you everybody for sharing the true Dharma. And in this session, as we are heading into the weekend, we can have such joyous Dharma session. And I think it's something that's very, that's a lot of treasure in our life, to be able to, as other people are going into the weekend, preparing to have fun, we head into the weekend full of Dharma. And I think that's a wonderful thing. Okay, thank you, three brothers. And also thank you, Sister Irene, for moderating today's session. Thank you all. Thank you.
Kanan, Brother Joe. Yeah, indeed, we are very thankful to Brother Joe. And now to me personally, I'm very happy that now Dharma, we try not to be hindered by any Dharma and a language barrier. So we at Cantonese platform trying our best, and we are also trying to do interpreting at Kaohsiung, So all thanks to Brother Joe and Master Chen Yan guidance. Now, can I humbly represent our Cantonese Dharma platform also to request Brother Joe, if there is one day that Brother Joe can spare us time to come and share at our Cantonese Dharma platform. Brother can share in English or can share in Mandarin. We have translation type transcript both in Mandarin and in English. So we really look forward that Brother Joe can come to our platform one
Okay.
day.
I'll find an opportunity. Definitely something that I will look forward to. Sister Irene already said so, so I must oblige to do so. We'll find some time.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, that's a wonderful news. Kan'an, Brother Joe. Yeah.
Kan'an.
Maybe invite everyone to take a group picture today. Yeah, document the footprint. It's so important. Now to me. Now we wait for everyone to switch on the video. Yeah, Brother Chin, Sister Janice, are you all ready? Sister Li Chu, Sister, you don't have to be in uniform, be at ease, yeah? Come. Are we ready? So we shall take the first photo. Sister Li Hui? Hu Ying. Okay, never mind. We take first photo and second photo. Wow, we have the footprint and really happy. Wow, we're really happy. We're really looking forward to Brother Joe. Yeah. So we will continue. And I think all the Dharma sisters here, you know, Sister Tzu Chi, Sister Effie, Sister Lily, we are all trying, Sister Sharon, we are all trying our best at Kaohsiung side. And now we have Brother Andrew and Sister Sharon also join us at the Cantonese co-host. And me, I also thought what happened. Suddenly I become a co-host at Cantonese. You know, I was like so frightened to talk always. But believe that with a sincere heart, we just do it, you know. So I felt maybe we don't have to be perfect to be able to do the job, but just the sincerity and just keep on doing it. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Brother Joe, and thank you to the three wonderful brothers for sharing. Yeah. So okay.
Thank you, Sister Irene.
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Ka'an, Brother Joe, Ka'an, Sister Irene, and the wonderful team,
Brother Joe.
the whole Brother Joshua, Brother Andrew, for lots of heartfelt and wisdom sharing. It's always wonderful to hear from all our Dharma brothers and sisters. In fact, each have very heartfelt stories. And Brother Andrew, we also heard of that. But tonight, because maybe the time constraint, we'll invite the team to share again on Saturday. We'll find a date. 真的是很感恩 and tomorrow we will hear from Brother Joe more wisdom, so stay with us for tomorrow. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your presence. Hope that each of us could sustain the Dharma joy and take in another piece of the Master and fall in love our life. Let us invite Brother Joe to lead us in paying homage. Let us please make 3 vows to the Buddhas and the Master as we depart to apply these teachings in our daily life. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life, universal truth. Palms together. First bow. Second bow. Okay, Ka'an, everyone. See everyone tomorrow. Okay, take care.
Kan'an.
Ka'an.
Bye-bye.